Now the characters I'm trying to look up here. Okay, Galaxy Goofups was another Yogi Bear cartoon, but it basically consisted of Yogi, Huckleberry, Scare Bear, and Quack Up actually, as space patrolmen. I mean, that well, basically they would portray the space patrolmen. Now, it was given its own time slot on NBC after Space Race was canceled, and of course rebroadcast throughout the decades on things like Cartoon Express, Nickelodeon, TNT, Cartoon Network, and Boomerang. Now, again, like I said, Yogi Space Waste was, like I said, it was a show that, like I said, it was a show that ran in between, sort of like the Laugh Olympic time. Laugh Olympics ran from 77 to 79, or 80, I should say. This ran from 78 to 79. Now, like I said, it created some new characters to join some of the originals. It says here that the characters in the Space Race deal were Yogi Bear and Scare Bear. And Scare Bear is basically afraid of everything. Then you have Huckleberry Hound, of course, and a new character called Quack Up, who's a crazy, clumsy pilot. That's what it says here on Wikipedia. You got Jabberjaw, believe it or not, Jabberjaw, and he's got a partner named Buford, who's a lazy pet dog of two kids who solve mysteries. Then you have Nugget Nose, Wendy, and Rita. They are all characters from the Galloping Ghost cartoon. Then you have a new character called Captain Good, Phantom Fink, and Clean Cat, and Sinister Sludge. That's right. It's just another new villain character. And it says, to the eyes of the other character, Captain Good is the personification of good sportsmanship and fights for everything right. Well, he's actually Phantom Fink, a space racer who uses all possible sorts of cheating like Dick Dastardly, except he actually wins some races, crossing the finishing line either as Captain Good or as Phantom Fink. The duo can transform themselves and their cars at the touch of a button. It says Captain Good looks like a handsome white clad and blonde tressed muscle man, while Fink is a skinny costume creep with a big nose, a blistery back beard. Although Good and Pink never although Good slash Fink never tricks people into believing they are seeing both of them both of them at the same time, and Fink never shows up for the start of any race, nobody suspects they're one and the same. Good and Fink usually tries to get help from people who live in the planets where the races take place, no matter which identity he must use. Clean Cat slash Sinister Sludge is Captain Goods slash Phantom Fink's pet cat slash dog. And, well, you get the idea. You get the idea, folks. It's got a narrator. It's got El Fabuloso and whatever you want to call him and whatever. Um, but of course, Yogi's Space Race, like I said, was aired in between the last Olympics deal. Now I apologize if this video is going to be this audio video is going to be in a couple of parts, so I apologize. Now, after Yogi Space Race and of course Galaxy Goofups, you had it wouldn't be for another almost 6 years till Yogi would get another show, Yogi's Treasure Hunt. Yogi's Treasure Hunt, of course, was another all-star show, and it didn't star as many all-stars as Yogi's Gang did, but it was more like it basically set the premise of the characters you would see later on in future all-star get-togethers. It gave you characters um, like Huckleberry Hound, Snagglepuss, Ogga Doggy and Daddy Doggy, Quick Draw, Ranger Smith, believe it or not, was in there. Yogi and Boo Boo, of course, and there was one episode where Cindy appeared as well. Now, Cindy did also appear in Yogi's Gang as well in 2 episodes, believe it or not. She actually appeared in 2 episodes of Yogi's Gang. So that was pretty cool. Now, that was followed, of course, 2 years later by the new Yogi Bear show. Now, the new Yogi Bear show was basically consisted of mainly Yogi Bear cartoons only, new and old. That's right. They even ran, from what I remember, from my recollection, they ran some of the old ones along with some of the new ones. And the new ones, of course, took place mainly in Jellystone Park. And they focused, like I said, mainly on Yogi, Boo Boo, Cindy, Ranger Smith, and a few new characters. Now, some of the new characters were Ninja Raccoon, a Japanese raccoon cub who wears a kimono, Ranger Ruby Dukes, who is Ranger Smith's assistant, chubby and tiny sized, and Blubber Bear from Wacky Races, who is a large grizzly bear taller than Yogi. Now, this ran, from what I could tell, for 45 episodes. It ran for 45 episodes. And of course, it mixed in, like I said, some of the original Yogi Bear cartoons from the 60s. So, if you watched the new Yogi Bear show back in the 80s, in the late 80s, and all of a sudden you saw, like, let's say you saw Boxcar Pop, which introduced Yogi's father. And you saw Cindy in there, and you saw Boo Boo and all that, and Ranger Smith. And then all of a sudden, in that same episode, you see the cartoon Wooin' Bruin, and then you see another version of, say, Cindy Bear, and you're thinking, what the heck's going on? Again, that was basically combining both the new with the old. Now, again, the one thing about Yogi Bear's show is, like I said, it introduced some new characters, like Ranger Smith's assistant and Ruby Doo, Ninja Raccoon, as well as Blubber Bear from Wacky Races. But it also, believe it or not, like I said about Boxcar Pop, it delved a little bit into the background of some of the characters, mainly Yogi and Cindy. We find out that Yogi has a father, of course. Finally, we see him. And we find out that Cindy has a family as well. Cindy has a niece named Bibi, who's a biker, a motorcycle biker, and a mother who, I guess when Cindy was a cub, arranged for her to marry somebody else instead of being with Yogi. So obviously we find out that Cindy, and you can read this on Wikipedia, comes from a rich southern family of bears. So now after the new Yogi Bear show, Yogi Bear would take a new twist as well. Yogi Bear would take a new twist. Now, first of all, he would appear in the Fender Bender 500 segment for the 1990 series, Wake, Rattle, and Roll. Then, in 1991, he appeared in the last NBC Saturday morning cartoon, one of the last ones, Yoyogi. Now, Yoyogi, believe it or not, actually consisted, believe this, this is no lie, consisted of Yogi, Cindy, Boo Boo, Huckleberry, and Snagglepuss as teenagers. That's right, as teens. And they worked at a place called Laugh, L.A.F, Lost and Found, which they reported to Officer Smith. That's right, Officer Smith. Ranger Smith is a security officer. Of course, they had their antagonists, of course, the villains as well. One of the main antagonists was Dickie Dastardly. That's right, a young version of Dick Dastardly and Muttley. As a matter of fact, there's an episode where Dick Dastardly, I think temporarily for that episode, takes over the Laugh Squad as their leader. I don't know how that happens, but he does. Now, the setting is Jellystone Mall, believe it or not, and it's pretty cool. The series is actually a pretty good series, although it didn't do too well. One of the main reasons people felt Yoyogi didn't do so well in the ratings, ladies and gentlemen, was due to the fact that some of the segments you had to get 3D glasses for, and these 3D glasses could only be purchased through Kellogg's or something like that. So it didn't do too well, but it did rerun later on as part of the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera. And then it reran later on Cartoon Network and Boomerang, and I think even in syndication for a while, not just as part of the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera, but on its own. And I think it even was one of the last USA Cartoon Express cartoons or something like that. And it hasn't been seen since. But you can find it, though. You can find it. There's a channel, I'm not going to say the name of the person's channel, but there's a channel on the YT that allows you to watch some of the full-length episodes. And some of the episodes you can actually watch in separate parts. But it does do that. So, but overall, there had not been, again, like I said, a Yogi Bear cartoon series since that time. There have not been one. Now, again, there have been some films and some specials. Like I said, there was Hey There, It's Yogi Bear in 1964, Yogi's Ark Lark in 1972, Yogi's First Christmas, a made-for-television animated film for syndication, Yogi's All-Star Christmas Caper in 1982, another Christmas special, Yogi's Great Escape, 1987 made-for-TV film, Yogi Bear and the Magical Flight of the Spruce Goose, made for television movie, Yogi in 1987, Yogi and the Invasion of the Space Bears, 1988 made for television movie, Yogi the Easter Bear, 1994 TV special, Arabian Nights appeared in the Aladdin segment as the genie, 1994 TV special. And then comes what I consider the two disgraces of the Yogi Bear franchise. The two disgraces, and I mean real damn stupid disgraces. Boo Boo Runs Wild